Welcome to Hospitality Technology's RTN Member Voices. I'm Robert Firpo-Cappiello, Editor-in-Chief at Hospitality Technology. My guest is Jeff Pinc, SVP Global Sales and Marketing at Jolt. Jeff, welcome to RTN Member Voices. I want to give you a minute to introduce yourself and the Jolt mission to our Hospitality Technology and Restaurant Technology Network audience.
Yeah. First of all, thanks, Robert, and Hospitality Technology. Thanks for having this opportunity for Jolt as well. So yeah, my name is Jeff Pinc. I'm SVP of Global Sales and Marketing at Jolt. Longtime restaurant veteran. First job filling and frosting donuts at a Dunkin' Donuts when I was 15 years old, and I've been addicted ever since. So sort of been in this technology space for about the last 25 years. I live in the Chicagoland area. That's enough about me. A little bit about Jolt. Jolt is about a 10-year-old company where we're really focused on, let's just say, task management, digital food safety, probably the two names that I bring up the most, but I can spell it out in a different way. What Jolt does in a great way is help restaurateurs, or any other business for that matter of fact, have their employees, their staff, their teams, whatever you call them, do the right thing at the right time, in the right way, at the right moment, and give you sort of peace of mind that things are being done well at the store level.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I would love to hear your point of view and really the Jolt point of view, restaurant industry challenges that you're seeing right now. This could include pain points, but also exciting goals that some restaurants are reaching for, and trends you might identify.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of years, to say the least, for sure. And look, I think everybody's heard the challenges that are out there. The two main ones have to be cost, caused by supply chain issues, and number two, employees, hiring, staffing. There's a huge shortage, and everybody's trying to, grab whatever employees they can to open their doors and to provide great service to their customers. And so, those are the two biggest challenges we hear day in and day out. I guess the third challenge, I'd say, surprisingly enough, one of the things that has been a beautiful thing over the last 2.5 years is that lots of restaurants have moved from pen and paper or analog to digital platforms. And so the good news is that sort of helped create a little bit faster adoption of a lot of digital tools. Because of stay at home or work from home or whatever you might call it, even from the restaurant industry, at least at the corporate level or enterprise level. And so we've seen pretty wide adoption of Jolt. So it's actually been a really good 2.5 years for Jolt. That said, there's also a lot of tons of regulations around COVID and cleanliness and making sure that you're looking at vaccination cards, and Jolt sort of enabled that in a digital way as well. And so adoption has been good. But the two things that I'll talk about, mainly is number one, the employee shortage. And so, the Jolt platform really sort of enables restaurateurs to do more with less in a lot of ways. And so I'll give you some examples, things like remote temperature sensing. So we're able to put remote temperature sensors in coolers, freezers, hot areas, dishwashers, you name it, where a lot of the regulations that you have to do these daily checks, if not once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times. We've got one, major chain, global, chain that uses our remote temperature sensing, and just on their opening checklist alone, saves them 20 minutes by pressing one button, going out and grabbing all these temperatures. Now, there's an employee shortage, so it's not like they, can have that employee, come in 20 minutes later, but they can reallocate them to more, customer-facing tasks. And the other thing is, just doing that more with less that was just one example. But if you can make a task happen a lot faster, and then also enable sort of the new employee that you hire to be able to have inline training when they're doing these daily tasks. So, I've never done this before, and let's just call it, I'm cleaning a shake machine for the first time. You just hired me yesterday and you've given me this task to clean the shake machine. our, checklist will, give them any kind of LMS material that you might have, whether it be a video or just a complete checklist with even things like corrective actions. So if they find something, what should I do next? And so we sort of walk them, so on the spot training. And so we're really enabling, quick hiring, quick training, and then reducing the amount of time it takes to do the analog tasks, so to speak.
Yeah, I love that the what we used to call institutional memory can now be digitized and passed along. When you learned to frost donuts at Dunkin' Donuts when you were 15, it was somebody told you that. It was an older kid maybe, and then they were gone, and then I love that the digital genie's out of the lamp, like you said, that there's no turning back. We are also seeing an increased focus on the kitchen now. We over the last 2 years, a lot of focus on the guest expectations and requirements for obvious reasons. But we're seeing a renewed focus on kitchen technology, and I find that really exciting. I would love any other thoughts you have about Jolt solutions that pertain to these challenges you were speaking to. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, that's great. And, it goes back to, why the founder of Jolt, Josh Bird created Jolt. And he was a Baskin-Robbins franchisee. And I'm going to give you two situations that really, help control costs, number one, and just help be, way more efficient. There's really three solutions that I'm going to talk about. One is we've got a product within our portfolio called Jolt Communication Manager. And so, from our platform, we can make major announcements out to the field. And those announcements could be, a new recipe, a new limited time offer. It could also be a major food recall. We want to get that stuff, from a safety perspective out of the coolers, freezers, and production line. And so it's a nice, two-way communication, Jolt Communication Manager for that. The second thing that we enabled is something we called Information Library. An information library allows us to, in real time deploy things like that LMS training in line to a checklist, number one. But number two, it could be, operation guides, new recipes. And so the example I could say from our founder, Josh, when he was at Baskin-Robbins is, the annual sending out the recipe cards that are, laminated in the binder. And, Josh was an experienced operator and said, well, look, hey, two of these recipes are wrong. And when he called, Baskin at that time, many years ago, they said, well, look, by the time we were to ship all these recipe cards out again, or even just those two, it's going to cost us, $100,000. And, so just use a Sharpie. And so our, information library allows you in real time to send out those kind of updates in a digital format right away. And then I guess the last thing is, we talked about that remote temperature sensor solution that we have. Another situation was Josh on New Year's Eve, received while he was going to a family celebration, received that emergency phone call. Josh, look, all the ice cream is soup. Never a great place to be when you're an ice cream place. And so two things, he lost about 10 grand in inventory. And number two, probably wasn't able to open up the next day because he didn't have product to sell. And lo and behold, what his employees were doing was exactly what they should have done. They were logging temperatures in a manual log for days, and you could just see the temperature rising over time, but nobody took any action. And so, our remote temperature solution sends out alerts. Those alerts can go to your management staff. They can go to your HVAC guy. In the end, what he needed was Freon on the roof, and that was it. And it caused them all that inventory loss, which is precious because you're paying high price right now for anything in the supply chain.
Yeah, and so this way, it all happens in real time. The message goes out. It's the temperature's rising. Something's wrong. Nice. Jeff Pinc from Jolt. It's always a pleasure. I thank you for joining our hospitality technology and restaurant technology network audience. Appreciate the insights as always.
My pleasure. Always good to see you, sir.